Join us at Nightingale where good times and great flavors come together.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 49, tonight clear with a low around 33, and Wednesday sunny with a high around 50. The enormous crocodile is roaring at Children's Theater Company, but only for 2 more weeks. Experience this hilarious high-energy Roald Dahl musical with unforgettable puppetry and a wild jungle adventure for all ages. See it all before it ends on November 23rd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org. That's childrenstheater.org.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I am your host, John Parker. Hello, Jim Pounds, executive producer.
Hello, John Parker. How are you?
From an undisclosed location today.
Northern Metro location, yes.
You were on assignment earlier today, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that in a future episode. But we are also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. And when we're not live streaming, you can check out all of our episodes there. Plus, we've got curated playlists for you, such as author interviews. We've got all of our mayoral events, lots of stuff on there for you to check out. So just search for The Gailey Show on YouTube. And while you're there, click subscribe, click that like button, leave us a comment or a post. We'd love to hear back from you. If you're listening in the 2 p.m. Central Hour, we can take your calls at 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. All right, what is on the show today? Senate Democrats. We're going to talk about them. And we're also numb, I feel, to how awful Florida is for LGBTQ people. But they're reminding us in a few stories over the past week about why we need to be paying attention to what they are doing right there because they start a lot of national trends. But up first, it is Veterans Day. And this is the first Veterans Day since the Trump administration has begun kicking out trans service members from the military and banning new recruits who are also trans. And so I wanted to check in on a couple of policies. One of them is that trans troops filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Air Force over the Air Force revoking their pensions after 15 to 18 years of service. So Logan Ireland, Master Sergeant Logan Ireland, is the lead plaintiff in this suit. Sergeant Ireland was stripped of retirement benefits that they say were promised to them after years of honorable service. They filed the lawsuit on November 10th in the U.S. Court of Federal Claims. There are 17 former Air Force and Space Force members who each serve between 15 and 18 years. And there is something called the Temporary Early Retirement Authority that initially granted early retirement in June, but the Air Force rescinded these orders in August, and they didn't give any explanation as to why they were taking away their retirement benefits. Now, interestingly, they want folks to leave. And so if they are retiring, you got to pay out the benefits. They've earned those benefits.
Yeah.
So
I think they should all come here. I would love to have all those former military folks come to Minnesota. I'm not speaking in any official way, but I just think it'd be fantastic if they'd come here. We'd benefit from their presence and from their expertise and their knowledge. And, I say that as I think a lot of people would say the same thing. Proud of them, proud of their service, would welcome them here.
I think the idea that if you do a job and you are given a benefit and you're working under the presumption that you have that benefit, to have it taken away from you just because you are trans in a serving and in a part of the administration that they don't want you to be there, right? Serving in the military. It's just, how can anybody be for that? Like, I'm sure, yes, I know that MAGA will just defend anything, that Trump and Pete Hegseth do. But at the end of the day, if you do a job and you're promised a benefit, to renege on that benefit is just...
It says to anyone that works in the military, or frankly for the government, you might not be able to trust them. And so can you really count on anything that they've told you, said to you, that you've signed, when they can be that capricious and mean-spirited and arbitrary? No. So the only recourse is to sue their you-know-whats. And I hope they win, and I hope it causes an enormous amount of trouble for the government, because there's a zero vote of confidence of anybody that's expecting a benefit. You and I both know a couple people that work for the federal government. Do you want them to start going, well, I don't know if I trust these people or not? Will they decide they don't like blonde-haired people? Who knows what their next thing will be? Non-Christians? Who knows? Yeah. I just wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. You can't throw Trump a foot, so I wouldn't trust him at all.
No. And there are court challenges to the ban that are still ongoing. However, in May, the Supreme Court just said, hey, yeah, go ahead, kick people out of the military, even though the cases are still working their way through the courts, which creates even more of a nightmare, because if they lose the case, then they have to reinstate all of these troops and military personnel.
Yep.
And, in my mind, the court is just tipping its hand and saying, it doesn't matter, if you win in the lower courts, we're going to side with Trump on this anyway, which is, but also to do it using the shadow docket, again, when the court just says, oh yeah, go ahead and do a thing. And there's no oral arguments.
Right. Cowardly.
There's no, testimony. There's no evidence. They're just like, yeah, go ahead.
It's cowardly, Thomas. It's gross and cowardly. And I think I feel like we maybe saw they doubled down on this anti-trans hatred bull crap in the election on Tuesday. And in a lot of cases, people were like, they're not even thinking about it. Yes, the true magatards are very energized by it. I get that. But people that are reasonable, like so-called independents, are not motivated by it. They don't care about it. So they're doubling down on something that people think is a waste of time to be worried about. There's more important things, like how much does gas cost? And they're not paying attention to that. They've got their eye way off the ball, and they're going to go right off the cliff. And they're going to drive themselves off the cliff.
The Pentagon also this month rolled out a new policy. Actually, they rolled it out in October. That, according to the Associated Press, will undercut the ability for trans troops who have been banned from the armed forces to turn to boards of their peers to argue for their right to stay in the military. This was a Department of Defense memo. If military separation boards decide to allow transgender service members to remain in uniform now, commanders can override that decision. Which breaks with a long-standing policy that these boards are supposed to act independently. So it is just on all fronts here, just a disaster. It's a disaster for the armed services, and it gets back to this argument. As someone who served as a chief diversity officer in higher education for two different colleges, something I kept getting over and over and over again from people who didn't want diversity, equity, and inclusion. It should just be based on merit, just based on merit. Identity shouldn't come into any of this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, here's a situation where there are extremely highly qualified, based off of credentials and years of experience, service members, and you are just kicking them out for one reason,
right?
Their identity.
Yeah.
So it just, the hypocrisy of that. And, when you ask people, and this is the thing that gets me, is that when you ask people that question neutrally, and you just ask them, should somebody lose their job based off of their identity, even if they have the credentials and the experience to do the job? Every single person in America will go, no, absolutely not, because they think it's them, right? They're like, well, no, I would lose my job if that was a thing. So no, absolutely, that should not be a law. But the minute that you say that person is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans, then suddenly it's, oh, well, there's got to be a reason to justify that somewhere, so I'm cool with that.
Right. Not a bright country. I'm sorry, in many
I mean,
ways.
does it hurt twisting yourself into that much of a logical pretzel? I mean, does it hurt? Is there physical pain? Like, do you feel anything in your brain? Is there like a twinge when you're like, well, I wouldn't like that for me, but if it's for the gays, if it's for the trans people, then I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. I don't know. You would think, particularly since 16% of the country is religious and they make all of their decisions on religious means, you would think that would be a more empathetic person, wouldn't you? I mean, that would be sort of all the things that you associate with religion are usually pro-human, generally speaking.
No,
and this shows no empathy whatsoever. This is like rigid, inhuman, unfeeling, unthinking, uncaring, opposite of how I interpret Christianity, the opposite of it.
There's something to that. It's reminding me, and I wish, I mean, I don't know. If I could go back in time, I think I would become a civil rights lawyer, and then I would just be spending all my time right now suing the federal government and
You'd be
suing
great.
and I would be broke because there'd be no money in that. But something that I've been thinking about lately is how the argument they're making about getting rid of the rainbow crosswalks and getting rid of pride flags on government buildings is that this is political, that there shouldn't be political symbols in the streets, right? There shouldn't be political symbols, and I'm like, that is a very interesting argument that you might lose, actually, because if I accept that argument that a rainbow crosswalk is a political symbol, then you can discriminate against LGBTQ people, but because there's no protections on that. But if it's a political identity, there is protections legally under the First Amendment for political speech and under most human rights acts and under equal opportunity laws.
Yeah.
So I wish there was I should find a lawyer to come on here to see if that argument would hold water. And if someone would actually try that argument in court, if they're saying, no, what you're doing is political, which is why, there should be no politics in our sidewalks. Well, then you are censoring political speech, and that should be against the law.
Right. It's for me, it's very simple. Good people versus bad people. And I know that people on the other side feel the same way. And I guess we should sit in a room and talk about that.
Well, we want to tell our trans service members that we see you, that we thank you for your service, and I wish that this was under better circumstances, but we'll continue to cover this story, and hopefully this coverage will lead to justice for these service members who have been wrongly had their service terminated and are being denied their benefits.
God willing.
We are going to take a break now. If you like our political coverage, we're going to have Minnesota House Rep Liz Ryer on November 17th. And on November 20th, we're going to host Kirk Bangstead talking about a variety of issues affecting what's going on in Wisconsin. You're listening to The Gailey Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Hey friends, John Parker here from The Gailey Show. Traveling as a queer person or with queer friends and family needs to be worry-free, relaxing, and with a sparkle of adventure. So that's why for the past 10 years, I head up to the Fresh Coast and Michigan's Marquette County. With its spectacular fall colors, dozens of hiking trails, local breweries, good food, eclectic shopping, and its historic downtown, and even a film festival, it's just what I need for a long weekend getaway. Join me and head up to the Fresh Coast. Visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey.
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Welshire. The Welshire is a community that provides memory care to its residents, and we have a location in Bloomington and also another one that we just opened in Medina, Minnesota. But the big question is that why do people come to Welshire? Many of the people coming to Welshire are coming from other memory care communities where they maybe haven't received bathing, they've had problems taking medication, or inconsistency with staffing. Welshire has never used a temporary staff. We always have our own people, and it's those people that make the difference. We have always felt it's so important to have 24-hour nursing in the building. The other thing is you have to have an amazing activity team. Nobody employs more activity people than Welshire. Our activities begin in the morning, go all the way through the evening, 7 days a week. So if you have a loved one that needs memory care, come visit WellshireMN.com and book a tour today.
Hey, Francois, where are we going and why do you have so many canvas bags?
Salut Laura, on y va chez Nicolette's Macarons.
Oh, I've never been to Nicolette's store. They're just off Highway 169 and 36th in Plymouth.
Oui, ils ont 16 saveurs de macarons là.
They have 16 flavors of macaroons at the store. That's why you have so many canvas bags. I love how Nicolette supports small food entrepreneurs. Let's hurry. They're open afternoons, Wednesday through Friday, and midday on Saturdays.
Nicolette, c'est génial. Allons-y.
Let's go.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. November is here, so you're probably thinking two things right now. First is, man, where did this year go? And second is, oh no, I'm hosting Thanksgiving and my house is not ready at all. So you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to get things in order before your friends and family come over to celebrate. Every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, from hardwood, carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, and more, so you don't have to worry about your friends and family plopping down on a nasty couch. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 21,000 reviews, so go ahead and get clean. And don't miss this month's deal. Get 3 rooms of carpet starting at just $139 and $50 off an air duct cleaning. You just need to call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. If you're listening in the 2 p.m. Central Hour, we can take your calls at 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. All right, so we are coming up now on the end of the shutdown. 8 Senate Democrats have voted, broke ranks with the Democratic Party to advance legislation officially voted on and now moving to the House of Representatives. And something that is just, it's really interesting to me is the headlines of, the headline is Democrats lose, Democrats cave. And I disagree 100% with what these 8 Democrats have done. I think that, to me, it's very clear that based off of who it is, folks who are retiring or folks who have a their reelection campaign is a number of years from now when people will forget that this vote even happened, is what they're banking on. I think this was all orchestrated. I think the timing of it, we got through the elections, we won. Now we can just end this shutdown. I think it's very interesting that that's the headline, and I get that headline, and I don't disagree with that headline, but also, where's the headline about what's about to happen? The Republicans refused to negotiate, and now everyone's healthcare premiums are going to go up unless they do this magical bill that they're promising. Once this passes, then they'll absolutely do a bill to address healthcare premiums for Americans who are on the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
Why isn't that one of the headlines right now? Why isn't the headline, Republicans refuse to negotiate, healthcare costs are going up?
You used to be part of the news media and the television side, and I think they always react to something after it happens. So if what you just said happens, and it will, and people see their prices go up 70%,
they're already seeing them,
and they start, griping, going over to their Republican senator's office and refusing to leave, and break a window, then I think all of a sudden the media will react to that. Oh, citizens are unhappy that, what I mean? People, if they're unhappy and they're not expressing it to anybody that the media can possibly be impacted by, it's like it doesn't happen until somebody comes and breaks their window, and then they go, oh, somebody must be mad about something. It's surprisingly lazy.
Think two things can be true, but I think that for me, as someone who was in broadcasting for 10 years, as someone who did teach journalism, albeit for a short period of time, but there should be two competing headlines here, or at least two corresponding headlines. One, and I get it, there are 8 Democrats who are going against the party and are getting a lot of blowback about surrendering, about caving, about not getting what we wanted. But there's also the headline of Democrats said we need to address healthcare premiums. This is a budget bill. This is where you address that. And we are not going to vote for this unless you negotiate.
Whoops. I think your microphone cut out. No.
what you're seeing, or on YouTube, you can click subscribe. Give us a like and leave a comment in the comments section, or leave us a post in the community section. If you're listening on the radio, we can't do this without our sponsors. Please do business with them. Tell them you heard about them on The Gailey Show.
Hello, Minnesota. This is Tom Hartman, and you can catch me every...
Sorry about that. Just to let you know, our computer just kind of seized up. Everything should be back now.
Jim,
Yeah.
can you do this?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay.
That's why I turned the camera back on.
Okay. All right, so I'll switch back to the feed unless Tammye appears.
Fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk, from the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. To avoid gimmicks, call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. Car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Oh, you know what that music means. It means I'm back, baby! The Grinch. Don't miss seeing me at Children's Theatre Company this holiday season. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is great for anyone who likes classic Grinchy tunes, and me, the mean one in the flesh, or in the green fur. Make your plans to spend the holiday season with me. You'll remember it forever. Tickets and showtimes at childrenstheatre.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 49, tonight clear with a low around 33, and Wednesday sunny with a high around 50. Crooners is your go-to classic supper club, offering world-class entertainment and 4-star dining. Catch top artists in the main stage showroom, Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the Belvedere under the stars. Or stop by Maggie's Lounge where there's no cover and no reservations. Visit croonersmn.com for details.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm your host, John Parker. We are 33 minutes after the hour. I am joined by my executive producer, Jim Pounds, who's dialing in from a undisclosed location right now after doing some special on-the-scene reporting earlier today. All right. I know we've sort of all become numb to Florida. We've just sort of accepted that Florida is the hellscape for queer and trans people across the country. And there are do not travel warnings from a variety of organizations, particularly for trans, to, don't travel to Florida. But the problem with getting numb to that state is then we sort of it becomes just noise in the background that we're just always used to. And Florida and Texas are states where are incubators of this stuff. And then they take it nationally. And, it's important to just sort of check in on Florida. And there was one particular story yesterday where there was a high-speed car chase that killed 5 people after crashing outside of an LGBTQ plus club. So 4 people were dead, more than a dozen injured after a car crashed into the outdoor seating area of an LGBTQ nightclub in Tampa, Florida, this past Saturday.
I didn't know that was an LGBT club. I'd heard about the car hitting the club, but I didn't know it was an LGBT club. That's the first time I've heard that.
Yep. Driven by 22-year-old, allegedly driven by 22-year-old Silas Sampson with a Toyota Camry into the crowded sidewalk area of Bradley's on 7th, which is an LGBTQ plus nightclub in the Gayborhood district of Tampa's Ybor City neighborhood. It was about 12:45 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Oh, I was sad about it, just the humanity of it, but now I'm particularly sad. That's
looking at the reporting. I want to also update that the headline is incorrect. There 3 people died at the scene. A 4th person died, and a 5th person is in critical condition, according to the Tampa Bay Times.
And was it deliberate, or did this 22-year-old kid have a medical issue or impaired somehow? Do you know?
Oh no, he not only he was arrested and allegedly drove into the crowd and then attempted to flee the scene. So he has been charged with 4 counts of vehicular homicide and aggravated fleeing to elude law enforcement.
Yeah.
And it followed a 7-minute chase that began when a Tampa police helicopter spotted 2 cars allegedly racing in the city's Seminole Heights neighborhood.
Well, that's
so. Yeah, there's that story. There is the story of the ongoing story in Florida of them wasting police resources and legislative time to deal with one of the great issues of our time, rainbow crosswalks.
Oh my!
Where crosswalks have rainbow colors in them, which actually studies show. We don't believe in science anymore, but studies show that it actually the color differentiation helps people see the sidewalk faster if you're a driver.
Of course.
Not. They of course claim the opposite, just like anyway. Climate change isn't happening. Science isn't real.
The Earth is flat. Yeah.
The Earth is flat. Right. So there's. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, I'm kind of speechless because I did not know this was a hate crime against LGBT people until this minute. So I'm kind of having that first reaction we have when you realize, oh, wow. But you know what I'm thinking? We talked about this the other day. I want to give, in addition to the facts, some sense of, maybe you don't want to be sitting outside of a gay bar and they're on the road on the sidewalk like that. I mean, I would make that kind of change in my behavior. I hate to suggest it, but why make it any easier for one of these morons to injure us? I wouldn't go places by myself these days, and I would not sit out on a sidewalk where somebody could drive their car up like that. I simply wouldn't do it. And I guess we can take more control of our lives if we're in this kind of danger all the time and not make ourselves any more vulnerable than we have to. That's the only positive thing I can think of to say.
Also happening in Florida, a 6th grade U.S. history and science teacher is under investigation for reposting criticism of the anti-LGBTQ governor, Ron DeSantis. This is from reporting in LGBTQ Nation. The repost said, "Go to hell," to the governor. And now Florida, the state, the government is investigating this teacher, and numerous other teachers are being put under investigation of their social media posts as well. A lot of it just for accurately naming what Charlie Kirk stood for.
Yes.
On his college tours, on his podcast, on all of the interviews and shows that he went on. Apparently saying the things that Charlie said is enough now to warrant a state investigation into you and your work.
They don't like evidence of their own horrific nature. They don't like to be reminded of it. It makes them feel bad about themselves. Isn't that the whole Republic? We don't like feeling bad about ourselves. We don't want our kids to feel bad that we tried to annihilate the native population that lived here. We don't want them to think about that. That's Republican parenting. Some Republican parents, it's irrational.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
ludicrous.
This is what they do down there is not a Floridian experience anymore. They are trying to export this. And then two headlines that really, a couple more headlines actually. There is a GOP official, and I want to highlight this because they're always going after drag shows. But this one is raging at a demonic Christmas drag show because kids might be near the building. And this individual, again reporting from LGBTQ Nation, is the Florida Attorney General, who is saying that the show must be canceled because it's mocking the Christian faith.
Oh, they're so sensitive, those Christians. I actually have
the show. The show is A Drag Queen Christmas. It's supposed to be on December 23rd. Right. And the website promotion says, expect a fabulous remix of classic Christmas hits, dazzling themed variety performances, and interactive moments to share your Christmas cheer. And the Florida Attorney General has issued a letter saying that this openly mocks one of the most sacred holidays in the Christian faith.
Just imagine that person's kids, all of these morons' kids. Imagine how most of them are processing the stupidity of this. Well, I have a parallel story from Kansas. Can I indulge that, or do you not have time?
Okay, I guess we can go to Kansas for a minute.
Well, because there was a case where a newspaper was reporting on some of this baloney, and some idiot took exception to it, and they managed to get the police department to raid the offices of the newspaper, right?
That's which is Fascism 101.
Fascism 101. And they got sued, and now they have been awarded a $3 million award, an apology from the moron police department, and $3 million from the county and Marion County, Kansas, I believe it is. And I guess the warning is, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, we have a right to sue to protect ourselves. You've got to have a real reason to send the police after somebody. Unfortunately, all the Karens in the world think they can send the police on anybody they want to. But the truth is, you've got to have a reason, and these morons are going to pay $3 million. And I wish it was $30 million, to tell you the truth. I wish they'd put them out of business. So you've got to respect the facts, and it doesn't matter whether your opinion of that this is the most holy holiday and that somebody going to a drag show offends you. You have every right to be offended in the United States. And then after that, shut up. That's the end of it. You can say, I'm offended by that drag show on the holiest of holidays. That is your right. And that's where your rights end. End of speech.
I'm pulling up the story here. Yes, it is literally Fascism 101 to use the power of the government, the police force, to go into a media organization on trumped up charges, literally trumped up charges, because you don't like the coverage that they are doing. I mean, now though, with $3 million, the Marion County Record, that newspaper should be flushed for a very long time if they budget it correctly.
Good job.
And hopefully they hire some more hard-hitting reporters to continue to do the local.
But that's an example of good. There's a case where suddenly that makes sense, right? All the things you hear all day long, you think, that makes no damn sense. Here's one that finally makes sense. It came to its final conclusion. Oh, yeah, you can't just call the police on somebody and have them raid an office, and they raided another person that worked at the newspaper, all that to intimidate them. So the justice system once in a great, great while works, and it did in Kansas. Doesn't seem to in Florida. They don't seem to know what justice means in Florida, but at least in one county in Kansas, they do.
Well, I'd be curious, was it a state court or was it a federal court? I haven't read the the full story there.
I'm not as good of a reporter as you are, so I just I left a few details out.
There you go. I also in Florida, the local folks, and see when you get a story like this, you can go, oh wow, here's just another person, another parent who's exaggerating and gone off the rails. Took issue with the fact that a teacher brought brownies into his class, and all he did was mention that they were made by his husband. And Margie Masudi wasn't having none of this.
No.
She put on her American flag vest and headed out to the Duval County, Florida Public School Board meeting to talk about how egregious this was.
Yes.
That he would do that. Quote, during the public comment section, she said, "He's crazy. He shouldn't be in that school or in that class. What public school has hired that man to come and teach that to those innocent children?"
Yes. Margie hates her life, by the way. Can we all sort of agree to that? Hates every minute of it.
Why is she able to do that?
Well, because it's already...
No, I have a very specific reason.
Oh, all right.
For that. The Florida Parental Rights and Education Act from 2022
says,
I mean, well, this is the Don't Say Gay bill.
Oh.
So it's not exactly, you can't necessarily, it puts a chilling speech on that. So the school can't fire you for mentioning if you have a husband, if you're, a guy, or if you're a lesbian, or a wife. But you can fire someone if you talk about LGBTQ curriculum. You can ban a trans teacher from using the correct pronouns. And the teachers in Orange County, Florida, were immediately told after the Parental Rights and Education Act was passed, you cannot display pictures of your spouses if you're a member of the LGBTQ community.
I just had this argument with somebody who was boasting about the fact that he just moved to Florida, and I didn't say this, but I thought to myself, you're about one of the stupidest people I have ever met. To be proud of that, to sort of be brain dead about what's happening in Florida, all the people that are being hurt in Florida and degraded and dehumanized, and the children that are getting this skewed, warped, anti-human education, and these poor people are trying to do their jobs, and she wants him fired because he said, my husband made these brownies.
Yeah.
I'm just ready to throttle her.
That's the world they've created in Florida, and that is the world they're trying to bring to the rest of America. I got to fit in one more break here. Before we do, check out our GLAAD Media Award nominated podcast, This Queer Book Saved My Life. I interview LGBTQ guests from across the rainbow about the queer books that had a life-saving impact for them. Plus, we bring in the book's authors to have a discussion about what it took to write and get that book into the world. You can stream it everywhere you get your podcast or at thisqueerbook.com. You listen to The Gala Show.
This season, bring the whole family to see Irving Berlin's White Christmas. This smash hit musical based on the classic film returns by popular demand to delight you at Chanhassen dinner theaters. With loads of laughter and a stunning showcase of Irving Berlin songs, White Christmas is a celebration of the romance, friendship, and magic of the holidays. Make your plans today to see White Christmas. Visit chanhassendt.com.
On Saturday, November 15th, One Voice Mixed Chorus presents the concert Protest Lines, a concert and community sing at the O'Shaughnessy Auditorium. Hear the chorus perform powerful music of protest and then join them as they teach you songs to take to the streets. This is a true community sing-in for the times we are enduring. Go to onevoicemn.org to buy tickets, onevoicemn.org.
Hey, this is John Parker at Rainbow Road in Minneapolis. The holidays are coming up, and you can buy a limited selection of official Tom of Finland swimwear, tanks, and underwear for that special someone or for yourself. But don't wait on this. When they're gone, they're gone. And while you're there, update your gym look from a wide selection of tanks, t-shirts, and shorts. Rainbow Road is open 7 days a week on Grand Street by Loring Park and all the time at rainbowrd.com. Remember to get it at the road.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblot. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblot from Shamblot Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
We've all seen the effects of wood smoke pollution this year, so before hosting that backyard bonfire, follow these simple tips to protect yourself, others, and the environment. Remember to give your neighbors a heads up before building a fire so those who find wood smoke bothersome can close their windows. Make sure to never burn wet or recently cut wood, other yard waste, plastic, or garbage. These things can be toxic when burned and create excess smoke. For more tips on how to burn responsibly, visit epa.gov/burnwise.
The independently owned Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for your next book. The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter your age or taste. Plus, they have frequent events including book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell more than just books. They have a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. We are coming up on the top of the hour. We will know today whether or not the Supreme Court is going to weigh in a second time on SNAP benefits and whether they will be processed or not. The Associated Press has an excellent map on their website to show what is the status in each of the individual states of where benefits have been processed, are partially being processed, or not processed at all. In Minnesota, all full benefits were issued on Friday, November 7th, so this past Friday. In Illinois, partial benefits were starting to be paid on Friday, November 7th. In Illinois, about 15% of the state's 12.6 million people are on SNAP benefits. In Minnesota, 8%, just under 8% of the population of Minnesota, which is 5.7 million, according to these numbers from the Associated Press, have received full benefits as of November 7th. States who have not complied, I mean, we've been talking about Florida. Florida, population of 21.9 million, just under 14% of that population receiving SNAP benefits. They have received nothing. It's November 11th. South Carolina, 11% of their population has received nothing. Alabama, nothing. Tennessee, nothing. Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, Utah, West Virginia. That one surprised me. Governor Glenn Youngkin said on Sunday that partial SNAP benefits would begin to go out on November 13th. Just under 10% actually of the population of Virginia are on SNAP benefits. And Maryland as well, Democratic Governor Wes Moore's office said on Monday the 10th that the state funds will be used to provide half of SNAP benefits beginning on Tuesday, November 11th. Just over 11% of that state is on utilizing SNAP benefits. That population is 6.1 million individuals. The federal court ruling on Monday said that they have to go forward. An appeals court that full funding should resume, but the Supreme Court could step in again and stop all of that. We'll see what they do there. Important point of clarification, because when I saw it come through and I saw that it was Justice Jackson who paused the distribution of SNAP benefits on Friday, I was just like, what is going on here? And apparently she was buying time.
Yeah.
So she was giving a 48-hour pause on SNAP benefits, recognizing that one of her colleagues on the majority would have given a full pause on any type of benefits going out. So I don't know.
Well, I wonder what people are doing. I mean, I don't want anybody to call and just disclose stuff they don't want to disclose, but I tend to think not in terms of 12% of the population or 100,000 people or whatever. I tend to think of an individual household where they haven't had at least part of the support they need to survive, and they haven't had it for a period of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 days, for a period of time. And yes, we know food banks are being overrun, a lot of demand, maybe other sources are, but it's a very frightening and unsustainable thing. And then, of course, for kids, the last thing they should be worried about is this. And that's why the program exists. And I'm sure they're not old enough to think, who are the monsters that did this to us? Well, point to a Republican and you've found a monster. So I just can't imagine causing that kind of pain and fear and suffering out of meanness, out of greed, shame on every single person that voted for a Republican. Shame on them.
When you go to a Republican state and you ask the Republican MAGA voters who are on SNAP benefits what they feel about this, they're very upset because there are work requirements tied to this and they are following the work requirements. So they feel like they should earn that. But somehow that also gets lost in the larger narrative that Fox News and the anti, SNAP benefits Republicans are always saying, which is, oh, these are just freeloaders.
Yeah.
These are just people who are abusing the government, and they shouldn't be, there should be work requirements. There are work requirements.
I was reading,
and you know what? If you want to get rid of SNAP, then I've got some lovely policy ideas for you. Policy idea: no more billionaires. There's one. How about we raise taxes and we raise wages for working class Americans? How about that? There's could be something that we could do there. Force companies to start raising wages. If you want to get rid of government programs, then we're going to start eating into your profits. No more Elon Musks.
Nope. That'd be the first one I'd get rid of. But I was reading an article about a woman who worked in an auto parts store, probably part-time, doesn't make enough to pay for her 3 kids and needs those SNAP benefits. And they're like, they don't know what they're going to do. They don't necessarily have family to rely on. Suddenly now you're kind of struggling to hold your family together. And now you're having to take at least one thing you could count on in an uncertain life. And now you got to worry about that too.
Well, and there's this thing of like, oh, well, people who want SNAP benefits, they're using that money to buy food, but they're using their other money to go buy a new iPhone. And it's like, they manufacture these things, and we're out of time for today. So obviously we'll know more tomorrow where things are standing. But for folks in Chicago on WCPT, Choose Views is up next with Richard Chu, continuing this coverage on AM 950 Radio. It is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. You can stream our show everywhere you get your podcasts and at youtube.com/@thegailey show. If you're already there, subscribe, leave us a like, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.